Hello friends, welcome to my channel Power of AEM. In this video, we are going to talk about Open API and AEM as a cloud service. In the overall video, we are going to cover the overview, different use cases where we can use Open API. We will also explore the APIs, and at the last, we will test the API. Let's start with the overview of Open API. Open API allow to connect with AEM modules. These modules could be AEM sites, assets, and forms. We can think for any customized solution to pull the data from AEM platform. These Open API could help us to do a faster development as REST endpoints are exposed by Adobe platform. These REST endpoints are in making sure the data is in a form which we can directly use with the external applications and can fulfill our business needs. Automation could be the key factor by leveraging these open APIs. By leveraging the open API, organization can perform streamlined operations and supply data to the other systems. The other systems could be Adobe and non-Adobe platforms. As we do have endless opportunity to play around the data that APIs are exposing, so we can think for any customized layer before we share the actual data to any of the system. These open APIs are available only on AEM as a cloud service. And that is the reason Adobe is managing and having control on those APIs in terms of their availability, their scalability, performance, and other non uh, non-business requirement. So we can think on from that perspective only on the technical ground how we need to implement the open API, not just the implement, just to reuse with any other business use case. Let's move to the business cases. There could be different use cases for your business where you want to leverage the open API. However, some common use cases could be exposing the content fragment and leveraging those content to any other of the system. As content fragment related endpoints are already there in the open API, and we can do different type of operations on content fragment. Even we can go with any kind of create, modify, and delete operation, which is not suggestible with other assets. As we know earlier, HTTP asset API were available. Now those APIs are in deprecated state. So instead of using those old APIs, we can think for open API. For normal assets, we can also use the open API, but we cannot perform the different type of operation, even though those are not suggestible to use. Open API is secured to access the AEM content, and that is one of the reason we need to think for the open API, because all the content are exposing when user is authenticated. As Adobe is hosting these APIs, so we have to make sure those APIs are having only the relevant use uh, to the external system, and whenever we are trying to pull out the content, those content should be pulled out in a segregated way. If we know which folder from where we need to pull out the information, in that case we need to hit API. Governance is already in place as Adobe is managing all those APIs, and the overall non-functional requirement also managing through Adobe. So already governance in place. We just need to think on how we can leverage the open API. There are some multiple different scenarios where we can use open API. Let's start with nose. If you are having a use case where front-end calls can directly hit the open API, instead of that, you could have a system or layer in between of that where you can massage your content before exposing to the front end. So for that, it is not directly usable or not suggestible to directly use. Instead, you could have a layer in between. To do any kind of authoring or write operations, do not rely on the open API. Internal AEM rendering is not for open API. Also, whenever you have a similar REST call with different parameters, you want to serve different content. For that also, don't rely on the open API. Instead, you can think on the GraphQL, where we can use open API where it is more powerful and can fulfill our business needs in terms of integration with any of the external system. For that, we can think on the open API. DAMS indication, that is one of the best use case to use open API. Headless CMS also we can think on to use the open API, but it is not to have uh, any kind of dynamic schema. So if we do have any kind of dynamic schema, as we discussed, the flexible query, uh, for that purpose, we can go for GraphQL. In this video, we have discussed the overview, how to use, where to use, and the different scenarios. Thanks for watching my channel. Please do subscribe, like, and share. In the next video, we are going to cover the APIs, how, where we can go and explore, and how we can test those APIs. Thanks for watching.